Henry and Gordon were lonely when Thomas left the yard to run his branch line. They missed him very much.
Come along, Henry. We can't be late.
Had to fetch their own coaches.
You too, Gordon. Come on. Come on, James.
We get no rest, we get no rest, they all complained.
The ponies and coach
Laughed. You're lazy and slack, you're lazy and slack, they answered. Altogether, the engines were causing the Fat Controller a great deal of trouble.
That is, until they heard the circus was coming to town. Then
You soon forgot to be tired and cross. Until it was time for the circus to leave. Then Gordon and Henry were cross all over again when James got to pull the train away. A little later, the Fat Controller returned. Come along, Henry. A tunnel is blocked down the line. You must take some workmen to investigate.
come along, Henry. Stop and head's orders.
Pushing trucks, grumbled Henry.
Cheer up, Henry. It's not that bad.
They stopped outside the tunnel. The workmen went inside.
I wonder what could be in there.
It was very dark and quiet, but not for long. Help! Shouted the workmen, and they ran out.
Oh, good gravy. What's in there, guys?
We started to dig at the block, but it grunted and moved, one said. Rubbish, said the foreman. It's not rubbish, it's big and alive. We're not going in there again. Right, said the foreman. I'll ride in the truck and Henry shall push it out. Wheesh, said Henry unhappily. He had been shut in the tunnel for being afraid of the rain, but this was worse. Something big and alive was inside. Beep, beep. I don't want to go in. Neither do I, said his driver, but we must clear the line.
Come on, Henry. Let's go in there.
Oh dear, puffed Henry.
What's in this tunnel?
Then there was trouble. The block was indeed alive and very strong. It began to push the train backwards.
Whoa, Nelly.
Then the trucks, and last of all, a large cross elephant.
Well, I'll be. Where'd that elephant come from?
Well, I never did, cried the foreman. The workmen gave him some cake.
And Applejack bought the elephant some apples.
He drank 3 buckets of water and was just about to drink another when Henry let off steam. Oh! Cried the elephant. Water went all over Henry. Poor Henry.
Oh, Henry, whatever next?
The elephant and his keeper were soon reunited, but Henry was most upset. An elephant pushed me! An elephant pushed me! That night, he told the other engines all about it. Gordon and James felt sorry for Henry, but still teased him. First the rain, then an elephant. Whatever will you be afraid of next?
The big stations at both ends of the line each have a turntable.
Hello, Rainbow Dash. How's Gordon? Not too good. How's Henry? No better.
Because it is dangerous for them to go fast backwards. Tank engines like Thomas don't need turntables. They can go just as well backwards as forwards. But to hear Gordon talk, you would have thought that the Fat Controller had given him a tender just to show how important he was. You don't understand, little Thomas. We tender engines have a position to keep up. It doesn't matter where you go, but we are important. And for the Fat Controller to make us shunt trucks, fetch coaches, and go on some of those dirty sidings, it's not the proper thing.
Gordon, be nice. Sorry about this, guys. It's quite alright, Rainbow Dash. Not your fault. Yeah. Twilight, Thomas, and I will be off right now. Take care of you two.
Thomas chuckled and went off with Annie and Clarabelle.
And Twilight and Pinkie Pie, too.
Disgraceful, Gordon hissed as he ran backwards to the turntable. The turntable was in a windy place close to the sea, and if he was not on it just right, he put it out of balance and made it difficult to turn. Today, Gordon was in a bad temper, and the wind was blowing fiercely. His driver tried to make him stop in the right place, but Gordon wasn't trying. The fireman tried to turn the handle, but Gordon's weight and the strong wind prevented him.
Oh, Gordon!
It's no good, they said at last. Your tender upsets the balance. If you were a nice tank engine, you'd be all right. Now you'll have to pull the next train backwards. Look, call some boys. There's a new tank engine. Oh, it's only Gordon back to front.
Oh, Gordon, this is just too funny. This is funny, Pinkie, isn't it? Yeah, it is, Twilight.
Hello, Cole Thomas. Playing tank engines? Sensible engine. Take my advice, scrap your tender and have a nice bunker.
Good one, Thomas. Yeah, I know, right? I agree.
Gordon said nothing. Even James
Hello,
laughed
everyone.
when he
Nice
saw
day.
it.
See you
Take
later.
care,
Bye.
Gordon. You
Bye.
might stick too. No fear, chuckled James. I'm not so fat as you. I mustn't stick, thought James. He stopped on just the right place to balance the table. It could now swing easily. Gordon arrived in time to see everything.
Hey, guys. What's going on? Nothing much, Rainbow Dash. Just waiting for James on the turntable. It seems to be taking a while.
James turned much too easily. The wind puffed him round like a top. He couldn't stop. Well, well, said Gordon, are you playing roundabouts? Poor James, feeling quite giddy, rolled off to the shed without a word. That night, the three engines had an indignation meeting.
First, Henry got spitted on by an elephant.
Gordon has to go backwards and people think he's a tank engine. James spins round like a top and everyone laughs at us. And to add to that, the fat controller makes us all shunt in dirty sidings. Blech! Listen, said Gordon. He whispered something to the others. We'll do it tomorrow. The fat controller will look silly. The engines are decided to go on strike. The fat controller sat in his office listening to the noise outside. The passengers were angry. The station master came in. There's trouble in the shed, sir. Henry is sulking, there's no train, and the passengers are saying this is a bad railway. Indeed, said the fat controller, we cannot allow that. He found Gordon, James, and Henry looking very cross. Come along, Henry, it's time your train was ready.
Yeah, come on, Henry. I'm ready to go.
Henry's not going, said Gordon. We won't shunt like common tank engines. That was Thomas's job. We are important tender engines. You fetch our coaches and we will pull them. Tender engines don't shunt.
Oh, not this again. Come out at once. What's gotten into these engines?
Oh, indeed, said the fat controller. We'll see about that. Engines on my railway do as they are told. And he hurried away to find Edward.
And
The
Fluttershy.
yard has never been the same since Thomas left to run his branch line, he thought sadly. Edward was shunting.
Keep up the good work, Edward.
Leave those trucks, please, Edward, said the Fat Controller. I want you to push coaches for me in the yard. Thank you, sir. That will be a nice change.
Of course, sir. Right away.
That's a good engine. Off you go, then. So Edward found coaches for the 3 engines, and that day the trains ran as usual.
Nice one, Edward. Later, guys. See y'all later.
But next morning, Edward looked unhappy. Gordon came clanking past.
Gordon, don't do that.
Oh my.
Bless me, said the Fat Controller. What a noise. They all hiss me, sir, answered Edward. They say tender engines don't shunt, and last night they said I have black wheels. I haven't, have I, sir?
Well, they shouldn't do that. They should be much kinder to you, Edward.
No, Edward, you have nice blue ones, and I'm proud of you. Tender engines do shunt. But all the same, we do need another tank engine here.
And besides, there are 6 ponies and only 5 engines here, so another engine should make up the numbers.
He went to a workshop and they showed him all sorts of engines. At last he saw a smart little green engine with 4 wheels. That's the one, he thought. If I choose you, will you work hard? Oh, sir, yes, sir. That's a good engine. I'll call you Percy. Yes, sir, thank you, sir, said Percy, and the Fat Controller brought him back to the yard. Edward, he called, here's Percy. Will you show him everything?
And also, Pig Pie, you're starting to Percy now. All right, another friend to add to my list of friends. Welcome to the crew, Percy. Hey, thanks. Who's that other pony back there? Hello, Percy. I'm Fluttershy. Nice to meet you.
Percy soon learned what he had to do, and they had a happy afternoon.
Well done, Percy. You did that pretty quickly. Yes, well done, Percy.
Then Henry came by, hissing as usual. Shee! Went Percy. Henry jumped and ran back to the shed. How beautifully you wheezed him, laughed Edward. I can't wheeze like that.
Oh, I hope Henry wasn't offended by that. Oh, don't worry, Fluttershy. I'm sure he'll get over it within 10 seconds flat.
Oh, said Percy, that's nothing. You should hear them in the workshop. You have to wheeze loudly to make yourself heard. Next morning, Thomas arrived.
So you're the new engine, huh? What's your name? I'm Percy. What's yours? Name's Thomas. Nice to finally have another tank engine to talk to. Who's that purple unicorn just there? Hello, Percy. I'm Twilight Sparkle. Nice to meet you. You too, Twilight.
The Fat Controller sent for me. I expect he wants help, he said to Edward. Shh, here he comes, replied Edward. Well done, Thomas. You've been quick. Listen, Henry, Gordon and James are sulking. They say they won't shunt like common tank engines. So I have shut them up and I want you both to run the line for a while.
Also, Edward, Fluttershy, you'll be joined by Rarity. Thomas, Twilight, you'll be joined by Applejack. And Percy and Pinky, you'll be joined by Rainbow Dash.
Common tank engines indeed, snorted Thomas. We'll show them.
Okay.
And Percy will help too. Oh, sir, yes, sir, please, sir, answered Percy.
Thomas, Twilight,
everyone.
Applejack, Fluttershy, Rarity, and Edward all ran the main line
Hello.
together. Percy, Pinkie Pie, and Rainbow Dash ran the branch line.
Thomas was anxious about Annie and Clarabelle, but both driver and guard promised to take care of them. There were fewer trains,
Hello.
but the
Hi.
passengers didn't mind.
Hello, everybody.
They knew the 3 other
Hi.
engines were having a lesson. Gordon, James, and Henry were cold, lonely, and miserable. They wished now they hadn't been so silly.